Absolutely. So you can have, yeah, it can be subscription sensitive, right? So the owner could see everything. You could have, labor, especially in the safety training with those videos to say, hey, we just hired Lawson. He's a forklift driver. When I log in, all I see is 7 forklift videos, right? And I don't see anything else. I don't see claims. I don't see payments. I don't see policy information. All I see is that. So yes, absolutely. You can tailor that to where whoever needs to have access can have access, and we can restrict content based on that user ID.
Welcome to Insurance Shop Talk. This is the podcast where the world of commercial insurance gets a little closer to home. I'm your host, Eric Stein, and in every episode, we're taking a deep dive into the insurance industry, from the latest news and trends to in-depth interviews with InsurTech experts, carriers, and agency newsmakers. We're covering it all. So sit back, tune in, and let's start the conversation. All right, today I'm excited to have Lawson Condell with Riskbly on today. Lawson's created a really cool risk management online system that agencies can use with their clients. It's very automated. So I know Lawson's going to be a great person. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's going to be great to have on. And also, before we get started, a shameless plug again for those agents and CSRs that haven't been on the podcast yet. I just launched a new book called The Blueprint, an insurance agency's unconventional rise to the top of how I built my agency. And it goes through little bits of information as far as the how-to guide on how I used offshore and nearshore talent, digital marketing, and just other resources that I leverage for high deductible programs and so on that created our agency and where we are today. So it's on Amazon and it's called The Blueprint. So hopefully you guys could pick that up. It's also on my website at insuranceshoptalk.com. And so pick a copy up. But well, let's go ahead and get going, Lawson. So why don't you kind of go through a little bit about what inspired you to create Riskbly and kind of the gap in the insurance industry that you're aiming to fill?
Yeah. So, and thank you for having me on again, and congratulations on your book. That's quite a feat right there.
Appreciate it, man.
I'm excited to be here. So really, I'll kind of back into it from my background. When I got out of college, I joined the military, and then after that, I started my corporate career with ADP, and that really cut my teeth on commercial insurance on their workers' comp side and working with businesses and everything. And then after that, I was recruited over to Thomson Reuters and then to Oracle, and both of these were on the guidance side. So I sold solutions for expert guidance on how to manage risk, how to manage accounting, filing, SEC filings, different things like that, HR, corporate compliance, and as each role grew, it was a larger and larger organizations. So as I got up to Oracle, I was in healthcare and higher ed vertical. So I was to large hospital systems and to universities is what I was selling to. So very long cycle, very complicated sales cycle. And deep down, I always wanted to test my mettle and launch really my own company. And as I was with Oracle, I went through, what would I want to do? What would be exciting? And I really kept coming back to insurance, right? It touches everything, every single industry, and then the guidance that I had. So I left Oracle and I started my own boutique agency, and our niche was to regional hospital systems, doctors' offices, and then IT from software. So my experience of being in software. So understanding their challenges, understanding their opportunities. And as I would roll out, we would set up their, cyber, professional liability. As we'd set up these policies and go through risk management, I found it was such a manual, tedious process with data silos all over the place, and the way I had to communicate with them was fractured, and and I was working blind. So about 6 years ago, I built Riskbly for my agencies and my agents, right? So that we could have a single client portal to deliver everything commercial insurance. So from, it started off with having the policies and the certificates, but really I wanted the risk management, the HR, the safety compliance, the safety guidance, the safety LMS. And so we've started building that. And the more and more of my peers that saw it, they said, this is what I need, right? I mean, so there's some competition out there and they do singular functionality of those items, but there was nothing that really, had everything was all encompassing. So we went back and we coded it to be able to white label it. So insureds never see Riskbly. So for your agency, it would just be your platform that you're delivering with all of this content that you can add to that the client can add to, but it really changed the experience for both you and the insured and helped you, the agent, impact your clients.
Well, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
And
and we're excited. It's been received really, really well, right? I think more and more agents, if they have a half and half personal lines commercial, they're moving more towards commercial. It's a better conversation, right? If they're driving risk management, they're seen as a value to small and mid-sized businesses. So they're really able to help out their clients compared to, hey, I need a boat quote. Hey, I need a homeowner's quote, which is such a commodity, right? Of all the agents out there, they have the same carriers, right? It's really hard for me to differentiate myself on a Progressive auto and you have Progressive, right? So I see more and more agents moving that way without the ability to deliver that message. And so this is what we're excited about.
no, that's perfect. So yeah, I know that we offer a risk management system when I had a high deductible program and I had to have, I got my risk manager, I've got nurse case manager, I've got
Yeah.
claims managers, I've got underwriters. The risk manager was, always having to, really have follow up all the way through every single quarter, month, what have you, depending on the client's needs. And it was a big challenge. And I knew, agents, they've got risk management many times as part of their agency, but trying to get everything, like you mentioned, into one portal, one place,
Right.
and then more automated and
Right.
so talk a little bit about in practical terms, like how does it work? So let's say
Yeah.
you set an agent up, you get them the white label, they got their logo on there, they're ready to go. Talk about some of the services that you would be launching throughout
Yeah.
the system.
So we train agents to really start with it from prospecting on. So that's what we did. That's what our agents did. So as we're demoing it, we would demo it off a phone. We demo it off of a tablet to show the portability to the insured that they can have it there. They can have it on a desktop, whatever's convenient for them. And then we would open it up to prospects and say, hey, here it is. We need you to upload all your loss runs, your deck pages, everything here. So we want to start the communication in this portal, right? We want to start training the client to say, hey, here's how we communicate. So they're going to this app, they're going to this portal to hear our updates, to learn about our future trainings, to send secure messages through this portal rather than just email me things with social security numbers on it, right? So we want to make sure that we're getting this pattern in. But once they get in and if they say, hey, we're going with this agency, we turn it on. So now they have access to a full HR library, right? So depending on it's really just the paint there for the agent to brush, right? So if the agent says, hey, they're having some liability issues on hiring or firing or whatever, they've got that HR full scale library, put together an employee handbook, if safety is an issue, hey, we need to get a safety manual, we need to get some safety protocol in, they can build that in there. Risk management to say, hey, you're plumbers, right? You're a manufacturer, you're a restaurant. Here are things that I can move over that when they log in, they'll see here's some best practices, here's some resources.
So it is customizable by industry, that's very unique, where Xywave and those things, you got to
Yes.
dig through a lot of material for that.
Yes. And I mean, you take that on just a personal level. Whenever you go into something and you have to scroll through all these other things that aren't even relevant, to me, it dilutes the importance. I'm gonna less likely go there. But with ours, we call it circles that, the agent can say, hey, I want all this information. And when I plug in or create a new plumbing company for this platform, they'll have all this. So I don't have to manually recreate it. Or I say, hey, just for Charlotte, just for Dallas, right? So if they're more of a generalist, they can move all of this just for certain areas, whatever they want to build. But you're exactly right. So to automate it, but to also, one of the really unique things that we do is I found, and almost everybody I talk to finds, is say, hey, you meet with a prospect, and it's really the vertical, the industry is irrelevant. Hey, I meet with a plumber, I meet with a manufacturer, I meet with a hospital system. I go through the diagnosis and I say, okay, here's where I feel, looking at your workers' comp, looking at your losses, here's where I feel the liabilities are. Here's my recommendations. I leave, and like you said, your risk manager, it's chasing cats, right? They go, as soon as I walk out the door, they're going back to what drives their business, what tasks are at hand, putting out fires, whatever. And then I'm chasing them every couple months, say, hey, where are we? What have you done? Blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of the year, a lot of times they haven't done anything. They haven't implemented anything that you've asked them to do. Now they're upset, saying, hey, our premiums are going up. We're still having losses. You said this. The producer's upset because, hey, we talked about this. You said you were in. This is important to you. I made this recommendation and nothing happened. Riskbly gives both the producer and the business owner, or whoever the contact is there, real-time insight to where they can timestamp, that they can have steps every month for each individual risk program. Hey, the producer thinks that they're susceptible to cyber attacks. They can set up a cyber risk management program that in the end of 12 months, they'll have a full program set up. They can do little steps each month, right? Or ladder safety, or harassment is big for a number of states, or required for a number of states. They can set up these steps, and the agent can come in whenever, month 1, month 2, month 11, and see where the insured is, right? So you can have these informed decisions rather than just. I felt like as soon as I came back to my office, I was in the dark, right? Just, I don't know where my insureds are, and I feel like I'm harassing them. Where Riskbly changes all that. And that's one of the big things to really, we want.
Is there like an automated like notification, let's say monthly or however you can
It
set it
can
up,
be.
go to the client to say, please log in and do X, or, remember this?
Yes, and so each person's is individual. If you've got somebody, maybe more construction and they don't want to have those emails, you may want to just have the emails come to just the agent. It's up to the agent. The agent can say, hey, yes, I do want those email notifications. But it does give the agent, they can come in and open up Riskbly and see all of their clients and see what we call a stoplight metrics of red, they're way far behind, yellow, they're close to it, or green, they're on task, right? So they can quickly identify what needs to be addressed, who needs to be addressed, what calls need to be made, and where everybody is.
Would you
But
kind of recommend to have like an account manager too, to say, as a producer, we don't like getting bogged down in these sort of
yes,
details, kind of they're sort of watching it from a service perspective, and then they're cluing you in or not, depending on the
100%.
role. Okay.
100%. And this is why I like talking to insurance. When we talk to investors and everything, they don't. But yes, producers are out there to sell, right? And that's what they love to do. And God bless them. That's what I love to do. That's what they should be doing. But having a CSR, somebody designated to say, hey, because a producer traditionally has a relationship to say, hey Jeff, hey Jennifer, you may want to call company X. They're falling behind, or how would you like for me to shoot them an email, or how would you like to approach it? But it allows the producer and the agency to have a thumb, on the pulse of what's going on in that risk management program, so they can actually, all of us as agents want to quantify our impact to say, hey, you want to stay with us, even if the premiums go up a little bit. We just saw that horrible hard market. We just hopefully we're coming out of. I feel like we're coming out of. But it was rough, right? People are getting 20, 60, 100%, 200%, renewal increases. But to say, hey, this is why you're with us. This is, everybody else wants to have the same renewal, but this is why you want to be with our agency.
Right. I forgot to use it in the sales and marketing part of it in terms of
Yeah.
the very beginning and say, look, hey, we have this system. This is what it'll do. This is how it's going to help, help you with your renewals if you will follow the protocols and have your supervisors, in on it. And by the way, I guess you can add multiple people in tiers, like the owner and then a supervisor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you can have, yeah, it can be subscription sensitive, right? So the owner could see everything. You could have, labor, especially in the safety training with those videos to say, hey, we just hired Lawson. He's a forklift driver. When I log in, all I see is 7 forklift videos, right? And I don't see anything else. I don't see claims. I don't see payments. I don't see policy information. All I see is that. So yes, absolutely. You can tailor that to where whoever needs to have access can have access, and we can restrict content based on that user ID.
That's perfect. Perfect. Hey, everybody, it's Eric. I just want to pop in for a quick announcement. Exciting news. I just launched my new book on Amazon. It's called The Blueprint: An Insurance Agency's Unconventional Rise to the Top. And it goes through a little bit about how I built the agency Insured Solutions since 2009 to today. And the blueprint in terms of how I actually did it with the tech stack, the offshore, nearshore talent, and digital marketing techniques that I use. So pick up a copy today on Amazon. Thanks, guys. Um, and as far as so there's like you mentioned, there's videos, there's articles, there's items I assume you could print that they could take to the job sites if
That's
needed.
correct.
So you got all kinds of content in there. And I think you mentioned you partnered with someone was it on the video side? I couldn't remember. I know you had a partner to
We
create the
we
content.
do we do we have a that builds a lot of the content. And so what we want is day one for you, the agent, to have all this content to deliver. Another thing that's really different with Riskbly is that you, the agent, your clients can add content, right? I used to have people say, hey, I was dealing with doctor's offices, they'd say, hey, I've got all these clinicians and they have all these certificates and I need to keep track of it. What I find personally, when I have 7 different logins, right? And this is back before Riskbly, to be like, hey, here's Progressive's logins for their certificates. Here's my AMS login. Here's an HR login, right? It doesn't get used, right? Because it's just, or they're still calling me, asking me, and I'm sending it back over, and they have to refresh their password, and it just doesn't get used. Um, so what I wanted with Riskbly is to be like when the insured says, hey, I have these certificates. Hey, I have this document. Hey, I'm a manufacturer. We have this unique equipment that we have personalized training on. Can I upload that video, right? It makes the worth of the video that much more important as they have all that. Now, if they ever leave your agency, you can send all that back, right? But it just gives them, we want to have one single portal, one single place how they're communicating with, and you can, as the agent, can notify on their dashboard and say, hey, we have this harassment training. We have these different trainings that our agency is offering that you can partake in, or hey, here's Hartford's training on this. You can have, a webinar that you can take on, or here's OSHA's deadline compliance that you need to be aware of. So all these different things that you can put out in front of them. But yes, they can upload. We will upload. We have over 300 different safety videos. We have over 500 different risk management programs that the agent can kind of plug and play in there, and we're adding to it monthly. But it's really there.
All
So
based on industry as close as you can, I assume.
yes, 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 yes. So, and then if you do have the partner that we have will build, it is a one-off payment. But if you say, hey, there's ask a safety expert a question, the insured or the agent can say, hey, this insured is needing us, they have this certain piece of equipment, they have a certain compliance that they have to do. Can you create a training video on that? And they will, and they'll, go back and forth on what that pricing is. That's outside of Riskbly, but it will give you something that you can, you don't have to go search out and say, hey, let me get quotes for everybody on this. This is somebody who's familiar with Riskbly and embedded in.
And is it unlimited number of client company employees that could, log in? Like when I
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It really doesn't.
There's no extra
So
cost for that, right? It's like the client gets, if they want to, like you mentioned, cyber training, like I know we all at our company, we all got monthly go through the cyber
yep.
training, videos, right? So
Right.
it'd be nice. So if they want to put that out there for their team, then they could put every employee in on the Riskly.
Yes, correct. So right
Perfect.
now our pricing's online and I want it to be as I just, I want to I see Riskly as a partnership with an agency. With that agency owner and that agency, I want it to be clear and very very easy to understand. I don't want to get into, hey, if you add this, it's this more, right? So it is a flat fee. We look at it as the data that we have to store and secure. So really, it's by client now, and as you talk about per client, what if one has 5 employees and the other one has 100, and they want to give each one of them want to give full access. That's up to them, and that's totally fine. That would not alter our pricing. Ours is based on the agent's clients, number of clients. And I mean, it truly is there to make you, the agent, different than everybody else, right? Because I mean, I picked up so many clients from showing to say, hey, this is what we offer. Have you seen, and knowing that nobody else has it because we built it, say, have you seen anything like this? And they're like, absolutely not. This is amazing. I'd be like, it's all right here. And they're like, well, we have something here, and then ADP offers some HR. There's different things, but nobody uses it because it's all over the place where this gives you something all
Yeah,
at
so I
once.
guess the best practice would be the agent could just link to it from their website. They call it the risk management portal. Uh,
Yes,
and then also, I think when you did the demo with me earlier, the fact that you can go ahead and put the client's policies on the left toolbar. You've got
mm-hmm.
COI requests, service requests, phone numbers, the CSR/producer,
100%,
in
100%.
claims contacts. Everything is kind of like an extension of their website. They don't already have a portal to launch, to the
That's right.
client. This now becomes not only the risk management, but what you said, you want them to use it and log in for everything, the policy, everything's right there.
That's right. That's exactly right. And we can link wherever to say, hey, this client has they have an E&S carrier. We need to, send payment here. And then they use Progressive for their auto. So we need to, when they hit, they can go there, right? So, I mean, we can set it up however you want. But you're exactly right. It gives you just one portal, one platform. So they're not going to 8 different
And then I
places.
guess as far as the training goes, then you set everything up with, let's say, the producer and CSR, whoever at the agency,
Right.
to get everything going and kind of get the infrastructure, and then show let's say, account managers or whoever's administrator how to do it in the future, how to set up a new client and going forward.
Correct.
Okay.
That's right. As they pick up new clients, it's really simple. But we have a full library of videos to say, hey, as you pick them up, here you go, whatever you're looking to do. Um, you know, here's a video for that to kind of step by step walk you through it. So that CSR, and it usually is a
So every
CSR.
time they get a new client, that CSR, let's say, is trained on how to set that client up and get all the
Correct.
policies and all their info, like you
Right.
mentioned, links. That's
Correct.
all this, I'm assuming, very simple and easy, and you don't need any coding experience. It's just drag
No,
and drop and
no,
those sorts of thing, right?
that's correct. When we first launched, there was and this is just more nerdery. I'm really excited. It's more now it's really cookie cutter, right? You start somebody in, you assign them to a circle, boom, all that content moves over, right? And really, once you hit send them the email, right? They get sent an email, and then also it's a link where they can download. It's not an app, but it's an icon to go on their tablet, phone, wherever that'll have the agency the agency's logo and stuff like that. Again, nobody will ever see Riskbly. But yes, before there was a little bit more manual effort, but we've gone in to code it to where it's now, once it's set up, it's much easier for the CSR just to kind of plug and play, put them in, assign them to say, hey, they're farmers, right? We want all this risk advice, or hey, they're a restaurant, right? Or they're in Atlanta, or they're in, Chicago, and this is relative, I want all this content that's relative to that, or by state, right? So maybe there's compliance issues, you're on a border with the state, and it changes. So, but yes, all of that.
Perfect.
Stuff.
That makes it easy.
Yeah.
So like what can you kind of go through any feedback you've gotten so far, like from agents, either presenting it to prospects and it won some business, or reaction from the clients that are actually engaged in it and how they appreciate it and it's helped with renewals? I mean, anything you can offer to kind of as a success story,
That has been the biggest, is picking up new clients, differentiating themselves. When we first talk to especially smaller agencies, they're like, well, I don't really have that many commercial clients to justify it, right? It's if you go online, it's $500 a month, and I get it. I've been there. And our question was, well, how are you going to get there? And if and it's really just, how are you going to pick up these clients, right? I mean, how are you going to differentiate? Because those big guys are going after them too. They're going to grab them, go throw them in a queue somewhere in a call center, but they're still going to go grab them. How are you going to differentiate? And this has been the biggest one. And that was the leverage that I used as well, and that's why I built it, right? Is that I needed something to be different. We do get questions about one-offs on safety trainings and the videos. And then something I learned early in software is that you kind of have to take the aggregate of the request and build it there. Now we can offer, Corey's team can offer to build each one, or build one for each person. But as we get those requests, and we'll add those to a priority queue of building those safety, to say, hey, we're getting a lot. We were getting a lot on harassment, saying, hey, that's big, or that's required in certain states. So we built that one out. But then really that's been the biggest thing, is that just to say, hey, it's just a different experience for the insured. It's a different experience for the producer, but the insured is the one paying, right? That's who we want to smile and enjoy it and see the value. And it does too. There will still be people out there that are like, I just want a quote, right? I just your cheapest quote. And that's usually not the client you want, right? So it kind of, using Riskbly, you focus on the clients that see you as a value to their business, right? You are a risk manager. I'm a plumber. I'm a painter. I'm a manufacturer. I don't have the capital to hire a risk manager. So, I get one when I use your agency, and that's really, it creates a better life for the producer. It creates a better life for me, right? It creates a better life for the producer, right? It's a cost to be different, but it affects, it impacts that insured, and that's what we've heard the most of, and that's what we will continue. There's no contract with us, right? A lot of our competition are, we talk to agents and we're in a 3-year contract and we hate it, right? I feel like it makes us work harder every month, knowing that we could, but it also, I think it says, hey, we are going to work hard. We are going to crush the competition and give you a superior product, right? We want you to be with us. We want it to be a partnership. So that's really what we've heard so far.
P&C agents, have you run into Byberg, which is a Berkshire Hathaway company quoting workers' comp for either your prospects or clients? Well, great news. Insured Solutions, a national MGA, has an appointment that is set up to allow you to quote, bind, and service Byberg at your agency. And the coverage is in all states. It's A-rated. Startups are even accepted. There's $125,000 maximum premium. And some of the tough industries they write are construction, transportation, that includes towing and parcel delivery, manufacturing, security guards that are armed and unarmed, mold remediation, and many more. So go to our website at insurancesolutions.net, click the Get Appointed link. We'll get you logins for you and your team, and can set up a webinar for training if you'd like. Also, feel free to email info@insurancesolutions.net, and I can handle the submission myself, or call 770-402-5343. Be glad to speak to you and give you more detail. Thanks. And are you going to add any kind of, I know it's all, really getting started now, but with AI, are you going to add any AI components, any other partnerships with other tech providers that's going to enhance the product even more? Anything you can tell us?
Yeah. No, it's great questions. It's all, I mean, I wish I had a magic wand. I could just make it happen, right? But you got to prioritize it and put it in queue and future rollouts, right? And so you're always, the biggest thing is to be an expert in our core functionality, right? So we have a 99% uptime, where, we have all these different compliances that we are compliant with, right? So offering a solid product that doesn't go down is our first priority. But also, yes, so we'd like to build an AI, right, that the agent and the insured could use to ask questions and build things to say, hey, one off, I need to build this. We're also partnering with payment vendors to say, hey, if you subscribe to their service or you want to subscribe, there's a quick link to say, hey, here's a payment vendor, a claim vendor, right, to say, hey, manage claims, on risk guidance, right, to have say, hey, I need help doing the diagnosis, right, to have those different tools in there, right? Riskbly is the portal, and then here's kind of the bolt-ons that you can add to it to enhance your offering that may just kind of float around without it. Riskbly gives you the ship. We're also working with underwriters to say, hey, you, the agent, would have to approve it. But what we want to do is to say, hey, Jeff's Plumbing Company, Mr. Underwriter, right? He's coming up for renewal. Let allow you to have read-only access to Riskbly, to where you can see what Jeff has done. It's time-stamped, it's assigned out what he's done on risk management, what he's currently working on, and over the next 12 months, what he will be implementing. Jeff's Plumbing Company is a low risk, rather than saying, here's his Accord, and I promise he didn't lie, and I promise he looked over it, it should change. Because, I mean, they're in a cubicle somewhere, right? They don't, a good agent gets to know his underwriter, but it really gives that hard fact timestamp that they can see what's going on, what they're doing, how that agent is building risk management into those companies. So that too, we want to
so
lower
you got
premiums.
from start to finish, you got to present it with prospects, client retention, hopefully, and helping them improve their safety and workplace culture.
That's
and
right.
Then at the end, from a renewal underwriting perspective, try to get them lower pricing, because to show them what they've done, real time in the system. So so an underwriter can actually log in, and I guess you just have to tell them where to go to view those results, or they just go right to it.
They would have a restricted, the underwriter would have a restricted access to that agent's Riskbly subscription. So they could only read, they could not make any changes or anything like that, but they could, they could go, when you log in, it's almost like a CRM that they could, you'll see all the different clients. They could go in and see that one. So it would be, or, we're looking at a couple different things, maybe having variations of that. We're working through it. Carriers have some compliance that we're having to match up with as they log into different systems to secure their system. So, but we're excited to say, hey, this is what we're wanting to offer different than anything else that's out there. And so the agent is saying, hey, if you choose to leave, then this gets turned off, right? I mean, that's just part of it, right? If you stay, you have it. If you leave, then it gets turned off.
Yeah, good retention tool.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think of that you want to kind of go through as far as the
No,
service
man, it's
and what's
always good
going
talking
on?
with you, brother. Thank you so much. If we try to keep demos down to 20 to 30 minutes. I know everybody's, working hard and out there hustling. So if you'd like to see it, we try to keep it quick. If you want to go into a deeper dive, we can schedule that. But if you'd like to see it, it's, go to
Yeah,
Riskbly, RIS.
how do people contact you and
Yeah,
give the
yeah, yeah.
website as well?
It's probably the website's the best. Riskbly, so riskbly.com. And so there's a, see a demo, click on it. I see most of them come through. So if you say, hey, I was on Eric's podcast, I saw Eric's podcast, please, I'll make sure that I do the demo for you. But yeah, that's probably the best way there. But yeah,
Perfect. No, that's perfect. And if they have questions, they can just call the number on the website at riskbly.com. I like to spell it since it's a little unusual there. To kind of get more intel on what you're up to. And if they have questions, maybe pull in the administrator slash CSR on that
yeah,
demo to see if how they feel and would their clients benefit from it. I know I'm going to use it, so I'm kind of excited about it. I've been looking for something similar to this, like I said, to sort of put everything in one package together and be
yep,
more automated, because it's just too much of a hassle to keep up with it, even for our, administrative folks,
that's right.
to follow up, with that many clients,
That's right. Yep, that's right.
So you kind of set it and hopefully forget it, but if
That's
not,
right.
go back in and kind of monitor everything, right? So, so great job on the build out, man. You've done
Thanks.
a nice job, and I like the white label. I like everything you've done. So
Yeah, I appreciate it.
congratulations on
It means a
that.
lot. It means a lot. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thanks again for tuning in to Insurance Shop Talk. If you enjoyed our deep dive into the latest trends, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Until next time, I'm Eric Stein, and this has been Insurance Shop Talk.